This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Hey, this is BJ. Thanks for listening to our show's podcast. If you're a fan of all things geeky, you should check out my other podcast, BJ Shea's Geek Nation. We have new episodes every day, and you can check it out at bjgeeknation.com.
Your driver's license is important so you can get back and forth to work, get your kids to school, and back and forth to daycare. If your license has been suspended because you can't pay your tickets, you can't do any of those things. Let's talk about Chapter 13 bankruptcy. You may have heard that tickets cannot be discharged, but they can be dealt with in a Chapter 13 case. Why not come in for a free consultation? The chapter you choose will make all the difference to your getting back, legally, on the road. Let's design a plan to pay off your tickets and restore your license immediately. I'm attorney Travis Gagne. Please contact me today at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com.
99.9 KISW, the Rock of Seattle. Man, you want to feel old.
Here we go.
You really want to feel old. I mean, the idea that we are now calling Dexter Holland of the Offspring Dr. Dexter Holland is insane, man.
Has he been a doctor for a while, though? I know he's been a scientist before even the Offspring became a huge band. He was like smarter than all of us. But
5 years ago, he earned his doctorate, Steve. He got his PhD, I should say, in molecular biology. So it's been 5 years we've been calling him, we were supposed to call him a doctor.
Are we calling him Dr. Dexter or Dr. Holland?
Ooh,
Dr. Offspring?
Dr. Offspring is awesome.
Dr. Ixnay on the hombre?
Yeah.
I always wondered if they would introduce him as Dr. Brian or Dr. because his real name is Brian, and it's like, no, but you have to go by Dexter, right?
Dexter also makes him sound smarter.
Yeah, yeah.
Dr. Point Dexter.
He probably is Dr. Brian. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, he also recently delivered the commencement speech at the University of Southern California's Keck School of Medicine. Now, we've heard some celebrities delivering speeches, but they got honorary degrees. I mean, Dexter actually is somebody that went through and got a PhD, so he's legitimately a student or former student.
He's an alum.
Student. Yeah. So
it's weird though seeing him in the garb with the robe and just because it's freaking Dexter Holland from The Offspring. He's still the punk rock guy that I grew up listening to. Danny, of course, his favorite band. Yep. It's a weird visual to see him up in front of an entire college class.
It really is.
It's cool stuff that he's doing because he's devoted himself to HIV research, and so that's where his molecular biology PhD is going towards. I mean, you got to love that. And in this clip, Dexter shares that he cannot believe that USC picked him as commencement speaker.
I mean, at my commencement, the speaker was Dr. Desmond Tutu. And that was the real deal. He was the guy. Well, today I'm the guy. You could have had almost any doctor speak. A Dr. Fauci, Dr. Phil, Dr. Dre. But instead it's me, a proud doctor of molecular biology.
And he does, I mean, look, he looks cool. He kind of has a Thomas Dolby look about him these days.
He's got that bleach blonde hair.
Yeah, but he does look like an older dude, in which, of course, he is an older dude now, but still, my brain cannot wrap around that he's an adult, doing adult things and seems to be very irresponsible. I can't think Dexter from no, I can't imagine that.
56 years old, BJ.
Whoa! I mean, and I would not, I thought he was younger than that. Grant, he's close to my demographic, and it's hard to believe that he was in that 40s.
Band. Oh, yeah.
Easy.
And Noodles, the guitarist for The Offspring, is 59.
Is that Nurse Noodles, or is he a doctor as well?
Noodles exactly. Is 59?
Yeah. They started their band way before you probably thought they were a band.
Yeah, you're right, Danny. I really, before I knew about them, I guess you're right. They had probably a decade, maybe more, they were a band.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's fun hearing him because, I remember we had the opportunity to interview him at Pain in the Grass backstage. Steve, could you go do the interview? And I was
I'm still mad at you about that.
What was that, 1 year before you started here?
It was I think a year or two. And I was
what? Oh, and I remember going to do that interview, and I remember being so nervous, not only because I'm a fan of The Offspring, not like you, but I'm a fan of The Offspring, so I was a little intimidated. I'm talking to a guy that I grew up listening to. But what added to it was I'm an idiot. And I'm talking to a scientist. You know what I mean? So it's on top of interviewing a guy who's a rock star that I'm absolutely a big fan of, and I love some of his songs. Help keep my mind straight many a times when I was growing up. But then throw on top of it, this dude is smarter than everybody in this entire room. And everyone in that room was just him and me. But you know what I mean? Like, I was just like, oh, man, this is going to be way too intimidating. You walk in there and it's like as if, like, he just knows how to dumb it down, or he's just such a likable guy, because I had so much fun. I'll have to find the picture, but there's a moment in the interview where I'm, like, hunched over just laughing because he was just such a freaking cool guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, you know, but I can't disagree with you that, like, well, of course you'd have that expectation if you know he's a smart guy. I'm a casual fan of The Offspring, so I did not realize Dexter was as brilliant as he is. But, you know, there's a guy that I got to meet who's a pretty smart guy who's written a couple of New York Times bestsellers, and he lives here in Washington and pretty famous for his cellular biology and stuff that he knows. And that's Dr. John Medina. Same thing, Steve. I thought, well, all right, I'm going to have lunch with this guy, but it is going to be boring as hell. Couldn't be a more fun and affable and likable and again, talk about dumb it down. I mean, I was able to follow along with the conversation, and there's no way I should have because of how brilliant he is. And I think that says a lot, because not all smart people are like that at all.
So I feel like with John Medina, it's probably like a fun change of pace, and it's refreshing to be around. So no offense, it's not like a scientist. You know what I mean? Like,
very much.
It's probably like, oh, this will be fun. I get to kind of just have a normal, quote unquote, normal conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said as much, and again, nobody meant any disrespect, but I thought, oh yeah, it's great to talk to someone who's not a brainiac.
Yes.
Like, no problem, John. Glad I could help you out.
I'm here to keep you real. But Dexter, on the other hand, is surrounded by nonstop people who are not scientists. Like in the rock and roll world, I mean, he's not always around. So I mean, I'm sure he's just used to it, and he's just a fun-loving guy who also happens to be brilliant.
Yeah, so smart. And I mean, he does so much stuff too, because not only the doctorate, he's an airline pilot. He runs his own company, hot sauce company, and also is the frontman of The Offspring, which has put out more albums than we can count. Like,
I had no idea about Dexter until today.
He's amazing. He's like my number one idol in terms of just like what he's done with his life. Like,
well, one texter said he's pretty fly for a white guy.
Yeah, he is.
There we go.
That's amazing.
I love that.
Another texter says, "Yes, hot sauce is excellent. Gringo Bandito. Give it a try if you like hot sauce."
That's the only hot sauce I buy, and that's the one that I won recently because of the social media thing. And they sent me.
Well, congratulations, Danny.
So excited.
Look what you've done with your life compared to what Dexter's done with his life.
I contributed to his awesomeness.
Well, so now this is all new to me as well. I didn't realize, again, he's been smart for a while. He's been in labs for a while, including when they were making music. And I didn't realize he came up with that iconic lyric, "Gotta keep them separated," from their Come Out and Play song. He came up with that in a lab.
I was in the lab one day and I found myself holding these two giant flasks filled with boiling liquid. I was supposed to be pouring this hot liquid into these petri dishes. That was my task for the day. But before I could do that, I had to cool these things off. So I tried everything. I took these two flasks and I placed them next to each other on the lab bench, but they wouldn't cool off. And so finally I backed up and I looked at them and I said to myself, these flasks are never going to cool off. You got to keep them separated. And I swear that was the moment the light bulb went off. That was the moment. That was the time when I came up with the catch line for one of our most well-known songs, "Come Out and Play."
How about that?
Damn.
Yeah.
He should host like a children's science show, be like, the new Bill Nye.
Oh, heck yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was so that you could follow along, but I see what you mean.
That too. Yeah.
I don't want an adult science show. I want to be able to follow along with this.
I'd watch Dr. Dexter.
Dr. Dexter.
Dexter's Laboratory.
Oh, wait, that was already a thing.
Yeah, that was
so close to a great idea.
Is that the serial killer Dexter?
No,
that was a cartoon.
That's a whole different laboratory.
Yeah, that is.
I don't know. I didn't know if he had like a chop shop.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Dexter did. It was a mobile chop shop, but yes, he did. But not Dexter and with his laboratory. That was a whole. Yeah.
Oh yes, I remember Vicky just showed the cartoon. I forgot that was the name of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was actually funny because the news I saw it like making the news yesterday of saying like, oh, that's where Dexter's that line came from, was from his whatever, because he said it in the commencement speech.
Keep them separated.
But I'd known that for years because I've watched all the documentaries and like everything I can, and him and Noodles joke about it, and he also talks about like how he was inspired in an airport bathroom one time for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and he was like he heard it over the like like a Mexican airport, and
that became like an iconic
and that
line in one
became
of
an
his songs.
iconic thing. It's just like inspiration strikes everywhere for this guy.
Dude, I thought Keep Them Separated was like some kind of like social commentary on like, maybe like groups of people that just like are fighting or something along those lines, thinking like, oh, some deep social message, and it's just about two hot science things.
Well, see, that's
Science things.
Yeah.
Science.
That's why sometimes they don't want to tell you where the lyrics came from. If you ask them, hey, what do these mean to you? Yeah, you know what? I want you to take them deeper than what the origin story really is.
I was having a really bad bowel movement. That's where it came from. And you're like, no, I thought it was about a relationship.
Yeah, and that's happened. People have actually, had inspiration while on the toilet, too. I mean, it's just,
So it's like the lead singer of Bad Religion also has his PhD in theology. He also teaches at an Ivy League school when he's not touring.
Yep. So now that makes sense to me because theology, poetry of music, I mean, I feel like it's in the arts. But, but the idea that Dexter is so scientific in the brain, but also can put together great art, though we know math can definitely be involved with music, but it still blows my mind. Like a theologist, if that makes sense to me, it's like, oh, I could see a musician going for that.
Especially when your band is called Bad Religion.
Yeah.
Gosh, right?
Exactly. That makes sense.
Perfect.
Well, and if you ever listen to any of Bad Religion's lyrics, you're just like, oh, it makes so much sense.
Was it Greg Graffin?
Greg Gaffin.
Gaffin, that's it, yeah.
He teaches like, when they're not tour, teaches like classes on all. They're impressive people.
Wait, he's an Ivy Leaguer just like you and I, Danny.
Is he?
Oh,
yeah. He teaches at an Ivy League school.
Oh.
I didn't know.
I thought I saw him on the campus of Princeton when I was there for alumni weekend.
Oh, gotcha.
That's it then. Yeah, look at you rubbing shoulders with the great ones.
I don't know. That's also a great band too, though.
Oh, I love
Oh,
Bad
amazing,
Religion.
yeah.
Oh, BJ, so someone said one time I played golf with a NASA engineer. He also played professional basketball overseas for many years and coached overseas for many years as well. I thought that was pretty cool because I'm just a regular, normal guy from Bremerton. There he is hanging with me.
Well, that's nice. I would hope that people who have achieved what we think are great things still can like hang with regular people.
I know, but it's interesting when you find out that somebody is like a rocket scientist. You're like, wait, no, you're really a rocket scientist? And like, yeah. And it's not like Thrill's brother. Not only is he
that's what strikes me.
An
It's
official
like,
in the NFL, but he's also he's in NASA.
See what happened in that family.
Yeah, how come he's not as cool as Thrill?
What happened in that family that Thrill's brother really became the black sheep of the family and didn't do well? Like, what happened with that?
Have you guys ever seen Dexter Holland's airplane?
No,
he's got an airplane too.
Oh yeah. He has it has a big old anarchy symbol on the tail.
I would get nervous if I'm flying and I see another plane that has an anarchy symbol.
Right?
I'd be like, hey, pilot, can we veer left? Get away from that plane, please.
That one's trouble.
I won't even get on that plane. I'm like, no.
Punk rock airlines, you got like cool, like hot punk rock chicks as your flight attendants, or hot punk rock dudes. Whatever.
Whatever you
need, man.
Yeah,
I still would be afraid of everybody just like doing what they want on that plane. It's just like, what rules? We don't need any rules. I go, well, there's rules of physics. We need to keep the plane up in the air, and you need not to be a moron. So how about we? I don't know about that.
When the Offspring did the 2005, I know so much. When they did the 2005 Warped Tour, they would pick a different band every day, and he would fly them in his plane to the next date.
Well, it's like Iron Maiden. Bruce Dickinson, he's a pilot, and he flies the Iron Maiden plane.
That's awesome.
That is like Eddie Airline. Yeah. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah,
that'd be funny on his plane. Not only show like punk rock movie, like tonight's showing is SLC Punk
again.
So he's so Dexter's a pilot just like Bruce.
Yep.
So when you said it was his plane, I thought he owned it. He's actually flying it.
He owns and flies.
Yes, Zen flies.
It's like
and I didn't know that about Bruce either. I knew Bruce had the plane, but I didn't know he flew it as well. Wow.
Yes.
Damn.
And Steve, Iron Maiden has the Boeing 747. The Iron Maiden one is called Ed Force One.
Ed Force One. That's what it is.
Which is perfect,
because their mascot's Eddie, that crazy
the skeleton
guy,
weird guy, yeah,
the mummy dude.
There really are, you get all types in the world of performance because when you think of musicians, there are a lot of geeky, sciencey types in the world of music. It's not just all the flashy frontmen that we see or even some of the flashy guitarists that we see because you think of Well, those guys, the guys we've just mentioned. You think of Maynard from Tool, who has, who loves his wine and his grapes and is just really geeky, sciencey about that. Bob Rivers, how about this? Bob Rivers, who did Twisted Tunes, made a lot of that music himself. So, and worked with Hart for a while. So Bob in his heart, he is a musician at heart. Also flew a plane. Also, did the beekeeping and then the maple syrup making. A lot of these geeky, sciencey types, I guess, are in music, and it's like science and art mixed together. And I hadn't really thought about it until we had this conversation about Dexter.
Well, look at Danny. He loves playing guitar, and he pilots his own skateboard in Bremerton from time to time.
True. Yeah. I'm basically the same person.
Every time I feel so badly for Danny because every time we do bring him up, it's just his failure of a life is.
What are you talking about?
Exactly.
Have you tried to ride a skateboard in your later years? It's not easy.
Yeah, BJ.
Yeah, you're right. It's almost as tough as getting a PhD in microbiology.
I contend I'd probably have an easier time landing a plane than riding a skateboard these days.
That's probably true.
I don't want to test it because if I fail, then Tatum doesn't have a daddy. But
I mean, yeah.
Oh, okay. Look, you've said some dumb things over the years. I do believe you would be able to get on a skateboard a little easier than landing a plane.
I think, no, I'm not saying get on a skateboard. I'm just saying navigate, like skate the streets for an extended period of time.
Oh, well.
Like a couple blocks without falling.
Oh, okay. Well, all right.
I think it'd be easier to learn how to land
a plane.
Not on the first try, but I think it's easier to learn how to land a plane than it would be.
How many tries are you going to get?
Skateboard.
You get one try.
Well, we do simulation a few times, right?
Ah, okay. All right. I was going to say, because if you don't land a plane right the first time, guess what, Steve? No more tries. It's over for you.
Well, you hit a button and it lands it for you. You can't just hit a button and it'll ollie for you.
Okay. All right. I'm almost following you. I'm thinking maybe this new science show should star you. That's what I'm just thinking right there.
What's it called? Stupid Steve. Thursdays on Nickelodeon.
You know what? Again, brilliance.
Steve's stupid attempts at things in the name of science.
We got a couple that got married after being together for 60 years. That's 60 years. And you're going to hear from them at 8:17 on The Rock.
BJ and Migs, mornings on The Rock, 99.9 KISW.
99.9 KISW, The Rock of Seattle. A couple in Scotland named Alex and Jane finally got married after being together for 60 years. She's 89, he's 91.
Well, maybe he just wanted to make sure he was 100% sure. Yeah. I don't know.
Wow, 60 years they got together. That's insanity that they just, they Kurt and Goldie did that because that's Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn. They're together all that time, consider themselves a monogamous, I guess, but never got married.
And Kurt and Goldie are looking at them and like quitters.
Yeah.
Did it.
Yeah. All the reports are calling it the 60-year engagement. But they,
that's cute.
But unfortunately, they never got engaged either. So until about a few weeks ago, so they didn't do any of it. They didn't get married. They didn't get engaged. And here's Jane. She's one of this couple, and she's talking to the BBC Radio about this.
Just a few weeks ago, he was sat on the end of the bed, and he said, "I think we should get married." And that was it. Just so casual.
Is one of your daughters in the background saying that if he'd got down on one knee, it could have been dangerous?
Isn't it great? She's like, look, I've been telling him for the last 55 years, if you do not propose and marry me, I'm leaving you. And I finally was about to walk out that door. And he's like, wait, it's been 60 years.
I wonder why. I wonder if it was because he proposed it. I wonder if it was for business reasons, for inheritance reasons or something. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like they didn't need to get married. They were together. They seemed to be fine. I wonder why he's thought, okay, marriage now.
Maybe one of the grandkids was just like, we really want to see you guys get married. Like, this is bothering us. And they're like, screw it. If it'll make you happy. Or finally, we're going to shut our family up.
I would love to know what was on his mind. I really, really would, because at 91 years old, there are no F's to be given anymore. Like I wouldn't have the energy to do anything unless you're just wanting a big party and you go, you know what? I never got married and I'd like some cake.
Sad irony is that they apparently realized they were not happy married, so they got divorced and they broke up already.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be hilarious? Not hilarious, but you know what I mean. Funny, weird.
Oh, I think it would be hilarious as far as I'm concerned.
I can't stand it being married to you. I miss it when we were just dating.
It is weird how people have that in their brain. Like, they can be monogamous and they can stay together, but once that piece of paper is in place, some people all of a sudden just they trip out.
Oh yeah, I've known people that have been like they were fine before they got married, and then like a year later they were divorced.
That's so weird. Like, you think it's like they're like got him finally or got her finally. Now they can see the real me after 10 years.
Oh, sometimes they feel like that paper's the cage, Steve.
Right.
You know, and somehow there's this illusion of freedom if you're not married, even though you're pretty much doing everything you do if you're staying in a monogamous relationship with somebody and living with them. But, you know, some people, that piece of paper makes them crazy.
Looks like there's a little drama at the start of the relationship. So they were actually married before, and they were both married when they met each other. Yeah. They fell in love.
Homewreckers.
Right. And they both already had kids, so they waited to leave their spouses so they could get together. They weren't going to get together until they were divorced. And so he eventually popped the question back in 1962. But then they're like, oh, we're going to get married soon. But things got busy, is what they said.
Oh.
They had a busy life because they had kids.
For the last 60 years?
Yeah.
They had kids and they had a few more kids. And they're like, I'll get married at some point.
It was very scandalous what they did.
Mm-hmm.
That was back in 1962. What they did was super scandalous. That makes sense to me. And here's the other thing then. If there was any religion involved, sometimes it's like you cannot, if you're divorced, you're done. You can't go really get married in a religious ceremony. And back in those days, when they were together, they were probably like hated. They were probably considered less than and sinners and everything. I remember, man, you know, you guys don't know this so much, but I remember when my brother moved in with not his girlfriend, soon it was then his wife, but it was controversy.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't be living under the same roof if you're not married.
Yeah, living in sin. I mean, it's so we forget, you know, what the country used to be, especially like the Vickies and the Dannys are like, what? Who cares? I'm moving with who I want. Oh boy, man. If it was 60 years ago, you two would be burning in hell.
It is funny to tell people, like, if you've been in a long-term relationship and you tell people, like, when are you getting married? And you tell them, oh, no, we don't plan on getting married. And to watch their minds explode. It's so funny. I had that conversation with my cousin the other day because he was like, when you and your girlfriend getting married? And I was like, oh, we don't plan on it ever.
You're not getting married?
Oh, no.
What?
Yeah,
you just his mind is blown.
I'm kidding.
That's it, Steve. Do we have to get rid of Danny? I didn't realize.
That's it. I'm cast out.
At least I can stop saving for that wedding gift we were going to get you.
Yeah.
Oh, boy, I've had like thousands of dollars put in the account.
Give it to Sarah.
Yeah. I always love people. They always have to have like those random questions that just put you in an awkward spot. Like
the invasive ones.
Yeah, like when are you getting married? You're like, okay, thanks. Or when are you having kids? Or then when you finally do have a kid, when are you having another one?
Oh, yeah.
We just had that happen, and we're both like, no, we're not. Like,
People got to stop that. They really have to stop that because I know too many people.
Thing. I feel like it's like you don't know what else to say, so you just say it.
Yeah. I know too many people that it's like, look, this is what they're doing. They are doing the not having marriage, not having kids life. That's what they're doing. And, you know, stop asking them, you know, it's like, look, man, I mean, people live how they live. It's an awkward question.
People have a weird mindset that if you're not doing what they do, they find it then so weird. It's like almost like it's like an insult to like their livelihood. Yeah. Like, wait, I had 2 kids and you don't want 2 kids. Are you trying to tell me that having 2 kids was wrong? Like, you know what I mean? Like people take it so like they get like this weird like they internalize it. It's like no, like we're good with 1. You don't need to harp on this. Like, you could ask the question, but when we say we're not planning on it, don't give me like a PowerPoint presentation on why we should have a second one.
I'm surprised you didn't get asked that the day after Tatum was born, because that's what happened with me and my ex. Literally at the hospital, we had a visitor come who was part of my family and was like, when are you getting the next one? And I'm like, can you just stop?
Dude. Yeah. It was like about a week after. Yeah, you're right. Like those questions just come right up. It's like almost like people are like, I'm going to ask the question that I know that they probably don't want to have to answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Yeah, they got to stop. It's group narcissism because it's like, I don't know, you know, why do you even want to ask that question? Why don't you just go, hey, congratulations, dude, and be done? It's like, how awkward are you that you can't come up with something else to say than that?
It's like a stock question that that just comes out of their mouth. It's like, It's like when you're just like, hot enough for you? Why did I just say hot enough for you? It's 95 degrees out. Of course it's hot enough.
I know. People just don't know what to say to people.
Right? Yes, I think that's what, it's more that than I think they're trying. I don't think anyone's really trying to make you like feel bad or awkward, but we're really bad at conversations.
Well, it starts with the question, and then the thing is this, it's basically whatever they're saying, you should agree, like you said, Steve. Whether it's a question that, you should definitely answer with the way they think, or oh yes, it is hot enough, or it's not, it's wicked hot. If you don't answer it the right way, then all of a sudden the narcissistic response is, like you said, well, wait, this is all about me. You should answer things and be just like I need you to be, and then their head explodes. It's like, how about you just sort of think about the other person and go, what would they like to hear right now? Oh, you know what? Hey, cute kid, or congratulations. And that's all you got to do. You don't got to, it's like, if you feel like it's hot outside, you kind of look at the other person and go, hey, how you doing in this heat? Maybe something like that you could ask, is like, is the heat bothering you? And if the person says no, oh, man, cool. I mean, you got to give me some tips because I'm dying over
Got
here.
air conditioning? Can I come over?
Right. Yeah, it's not that difficult. I really feel like listen, I tell my friends, if they're idiots and I expect them to do the same thing to me, tell me when I'm a moron, please. We got to help each other out so that when the random guy meets the random person, they just aren't going to go, hey, you're going to have another child, or are you pregnant, or what are you doing? You got to learn some conversation. Someone's got to teach you.
If you're a close enough friend, there are times where I will troll you just because I know what it was like, so I like doing it back to, like, I'll be like, hang on with a buddy, I'm like, you're still not married, huh? You guys are going to get, like, when are you planning to get? He's like, what are you doing to me?
That's fair.
I was like, if you thought about having kids, having a kid is like a miracle in life. Like, you don't understand.
That's totally
like, you
fair.
haven't experienced love until you've had a child. And they know I'm trolling them.
Yeah,
but I'm like,
totally fair.
Because those are the things I heard until, you're just like, oh, okay, that's great. Like, thanks.
I actually recently read a Reddit post, and what this woman did, because her and her husband have been trying to conceive and they were having difficulties, and she got tired of everyone asking, when are you having a baby? So she created, instead of like a swear jar, it's a when are you having a baby jar? Yeah. And she would make people put in $1 every time they asked the question. One, it stopped people from asking the question, and two, she would make money for snacks. So I think it's brilliant.
Snacks.
So if you have,
snacks?
It's like, for Danny, it's like anytime it's like, when are you guys getting married? Put $1 in.
Oh, Vicky, you are basically like
I'm shocked. All this time I thought Danny and Linda were going to get married. Like,
yeah, it is. Steve,
really?
I always
never.
No, I know it's not happening because Linda probably knows she can do better. It's a wise move.
Oh, that's 100% true. Yes.
Yeah. If I were Linda, I would never advise her to get married. Look, listen, keep this cow over here. You're getting it for free, and then eventually, you know what? You're going to get a whole cow farm.
Don't call him a cow.
Yeah, that's rude.
That's not cool. You put in the effort at the gym, and here you are being a body shamer.
It's more about the fact that he could breastfeed right about now is really what it is.
Gotcha.
And we have a formula shortage, Danny, so you need to get on that.
I will.
Yeah. So, hey, well, congratulations, everybody.
Somebody brought up a good point about that 60-year-long relationship, and they finally were getting married. That's how all this all started. Some guy and his wife, they finally got married after 6 years of dating. So I said he wanted to keep his options open, but then all of his options passed away. Oh. That's probably what it was.
Wow.
Wow.
Very well possible.
Or maybe they said, hey, if we're still single at the age of 90, then we'll get married.
That's it. Yesterday, Steve, he did get this one wrong.
May the odds ever be in your favor is a catchphrase from what movie franchise?
Star Wars.
No.
Star Wars.
The Godfather.
No.
Yeah, that's it.
May the odds ever be in your favor. The Hobbit movie. Lord of the Rings.
No.
Sad thing is, I think you did have Hunger Games on your brain and didn't use it.
No.
Yeah. Sorry, buddy.
No, I had no idea. I honestly, up until you saying I forgot I was even the answer.
You know what? Katniss is not happy with you, okay? She gave her all for those movies. You want a shot at beating Steve? You got it.
I have no idea what that means, but okay.
Katniss is the main character. J-Law, come on. Katniss is the main. Who do you think it is? It's just like if you said, I don't know who that Rocky is. I bet he's probably a guy in the movie.
Yeah. Who'd she ever beat? Because he beat Rocky, he beat Apollo Creed and Clubber Lang.
He'd have an arrow in the eye by the time he wouldn't even see Katniss coming. Okay, as it were. All right, the correct answer is the Hunger Games, and yes, you want a shot at beating Steve? You got it. 206-421-ROCK. Did we just have a fight about who could beat Rocky or Katniss? Did we just do that?
No, we didn't, because we know the answer is Rocky wins all the time.
Okay, we're playing Beat Migs with this insane person at 8:47 on the Rock.
Today's podcast was brought to you by Travis Gagne, bankruptcy attorney. He's here right now and has agreed to answer more of your questions about bankruptcy. Here's a question from a listener. My house is currently in foreclosure. I've stopped making payments. What can I do to save my house?
If you're already in foreclosure behind on your mortgage, you can stop the foreclosure by filing a bankruptcy. There's different types of bankruptcy. Chapter 13 can help you catch up on your house payments if you're behind. It would mean that you'd have to start making your house payments again and catch up on the amount that you're behind over 5 years. You could also take off or strip off your second mortgage, which would help you to reduce your housing payment every month, especially once you're done with the plan and done catching up on your first mortgage. We could also try to buy you some time by filing a Chapter 13 case. Filing a Chapter 13 would definitely stop your foreclosure.
Thanks, Travis. If you have more questions about bankruptcy, you can reach out to Travis anytime at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com. And thanks for listening.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
$20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too big to fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.